Hi, and welcome to the next in the series of live webinars where we explore how you can use Minecraft in education. My name is Simon Johnson. I'm a former ICT and computing teacher, and I have several years' experience working in education. And I'm also a Minecraft Global Mentor. And I thought I'd take this time to explore with you some of the advanced features in Minecraft and how you can use them to enhance your Minecraft lessons. So during this webinar, you will learn how to use advanced features such as Redstone and some commands. Explore how to create immersive experiences for your students using commands and discover how to use commands to speed up world building too. So I thought I'd start off with Redstone. I often get asked by teachers, what is Redstone? What is the point of Redstone? My children are always talking, can I create a Redstone contraption? What is it and how can I actually use it in my lessons? So Redstone can be thought of as a power source in Minecraft. It can be on or off, a bit like electricity. Computing teachers, you can use the analogy of the two different states inside a computer, on or off, or 1 or 0. And you can use it to create lights, open doors, build devices and contraptions. We'll talk about that a little later, and even move water. So power sources provide power to different devices. The general power sources are levers, which can be on or off, and buttons. There are a few others we'll probably talk about in later sessions. These can control a number of devices. One of my favorite ones is pistons, and we'll explore an example of how you can use a piston. You have lamps, redstone lamps, which you can use for lights within buildings, and you can also use redstone to power doors. Excuse me. So Redstone is great because you can use it to create more interactive experiences for your students. You can also use it to conceal things. You can create complex circuits as well with them. So let's have a look at Redstone and how it works and what you can actually do with some Redstone. So here we have a little sandbox area where we can test some Redstone features out. So I mentioned that one of the sources to pair up or trigger Redstone is a button. So if I press this button here by using my right button on my mouse, it will turn the light on. Now notice with the button that it only momentarily sends a pulse of power to the attached device. So in this case, it'll turn the light on for a few seconds. Now, you'll notice in between my ignition and my device, we have this power source. So this is your redstone. So if I go to this chest here, we have some redstone here. So this is what redstone dust looks like. I call it magic fairy dust. It's almost like an electrical circuit or electrical current. Just like any other block in Minecraft, if I right click, I can place redstone. It's one of the few items that's not actually a block in Minecraft. So again, if I complete the circuit like so, you notice it'll create a line between my source, my power source and my device. And then if I go into my chest, I should also have some buttons. There's different types of buttons. We have some oak buttons, and we've got some stone buttons as well. So I'm going to take the stone buttons. And then if I right click and place that button on my power source, right click, we've got power just for a few seconds. Buttons aren't really useful for lights in rooms. You notice that I have lights activated in my room here. So instead of using a button, we can actually use a switch. So a switch has two states, on or off, and it remains in that state. So at the moment, this switch is in the opposite position, which is off. So there's no power going to my light. If I right click on that and put it into the down position, which is on, it powers up my device, in this case the redstone lamp, and it stays on. So just like a switch in your home. So this is better for pairing up light sources. So again, to create the circuit, we just right click with our mouse, like so. And then in this case, we're going to use a lever. And I'm going to steal one from over here, like so. And I'm going to right click, and there we go. We have our light source. You can also use buttons and switches to operate doors. So you might want the students to find a secret entrance, or move from room to room. It could be a breakout experience. So I mentioned in the first session about game-based learning and escape rooms. So you could create an escape room in Minecraft where they have to try and find the clues to open the doors. So here we've got a button to operate the doors. If I right click on the button, the door will open for a few seconds and they'll close again. So this could be a race where you have to press the button and run to get to the door. We could have students working together collaboratively, where one holds the button whilst the other one goes in. They're working as a team to solve challenges. You can also use switches to open doors. So just like before, in the up position it's off, the door is closed, and if I right click like so, the door is open, and we don't need that. I don't know why that was there. On and off. So let's just demonstrate that. So I've got my button, so I can place a button without redstone directly on a block that's attached to my door, like so. And if I right click on the button, it will open. It doesn't matter where it is, I can have it down here as well. As long as it's attached to a block next to the device, it will open and close. And just as before, I'm going to create some redstone. So a circuit in between my blocks, like so, for my door. And this time I'm going to place a lever, like so. Then when I right click on the lever to activate it, the door will remain open. You can also use what we call pistons. This is a special piston called a sticky piston. When I activate it, I'm just going to take that block for a second. When I activate it, switch it on, notice that the lever will push that item up. So this is a block of redstone. So we can use blocks of redstone to power items as well. So if I right click on the switch, it'll move the block up and it'll turn the light on. So this is great. We find that pistons are great for concealing. So often you don't want lines of red dust across the world. One, the students can see them, and two, they might accidentally destroy that link. So you can conceal things by using things like pistons. Let's have a look again. So right click, it moves the piston up. You can also use pistons to move objects. It could be move a minecart, or it could even move the flow of water as well. So if I go to my chest, I should have some pistons in here. I did have some pistons. I'll see if I can copy it. Top tip. If you want to quickly access an item and it's in your world, if you point your cursor at the object, and if you have a scroll wheel on your mouse and you press the scroll wheel down, it will copy the item that's in front of you. A really nice little useful trick. So I'm going to place a piston facing up, like so. I'll put my redstone block on top. That's my power source. And let's steal this glowstone. Like so. I use my redstone dust, like so. I'm going to right click, creates a circuit, and powers up my redstone. I mentioned circuits. So Minecraft's great for building circuits. So here we've got a simple circuit. Any science teacher or primary teacher has done this in a lesson, where you have a light bulb connected to a circuit, and then the circuit is completed by a switch. And if you right click on the switch, it triggers my light. So I'm going to place my switch down here, like so. And notice when I start to place my redstone, like so, when you place the redstone, it automatically creates the path. So I'm building my circuit like so. You can even do it in a straight line to the circuit like that. And then when I right click, it'll power. It should power up my device. It automatically decides the path for you. There we go. Let's have a circuit. Also, something to be aware of is the behavior of redstone, because I mentioned before that you might not necessarily want your redstone to your door to appear above the world, because students can accidentally destroy it and they can see it as well. So you might want to conceal, and one thing you can do is you can dig down and place redstone underneath. So you can actually see here the redstone follows a path and they'll go up and down stairs. So here we've got the redstone going up the steps. So if I right click on that block, the redstone will travel up the stairs to the light. And here it will travel down the stairs, back up the steps, and it'll still trigger that light. So you can use that to conceal items. Let me just change the setting here. Don't have to worry about this, but I'll talk about this in a moment. Actually, it's really useful. And I'm going to steal this block here. And as you can see, I can then now conceal that redstone, but I can still pair up the lights. So you can't see the redstone, but you can still pair the lights. It's great for concealing. And then the final thing to be aware with redstone is it has a limit. So here we can see we have a set of lights. This might be a classic example how you might use redstone in one of your worlds. So you might have a room that needs illuminating, and we've got some redstone lights in a sequence. And if I just got the steps, you can actually see this. So if I just go here, so you can see I've created a circuit of redstone which touches each of the lights. So theoretically, when I turn on the switch like so, it should illuminate the lights. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But notice that the last 3 lights in the sequence aren't on. So if I go up here and look, my circuit's not broken. But if I move across the circuit, and I'll demonstrate this here with a lever and attach some redstone. As the redstone gets further and further away, you start to notice a change in colour. So at the start, it's bright red, but then towards the end, it starts to get darker. And that's because redstone loses its power along the way. So redstone has a limit of 15 blocks, at which point it runs out of juice. So what you can do is you can use something called a repeater. So if I move across here and get to the point where the light stops working, what I can do is, this redstone is quite dark, so I'm going to replace that redstone, and I'm going to go to inventory, and I'm going to find my redstone repeater. So there it is, like so. I'm going to place that in my inventory, and I'm going to right click and place. Now it's important the way you place this. You need to place it in the direction the redstone is going. So if I right click here, notice all of a sudden it will then generate another 15 blocks of power. So using repeaters, you've got an infinite amount of redstone for your circuits. I'll just demonstrate what happens if I point it in the wrong directions. If I went in the opposite direction of the power source, so pointing towards the switch rather than away from the switch, and place the block, nothing happens. So I need to make sure that my repeater is going in the direction of the current place, and it will continue that current. You're going to do that, need to do that every 15 blocks. That's pretty much redstone. So redstones are great for circuits, great for opening doors. So here you notice I can't get to these doors. Normally you can right click on objects. Iron doors you can't right click and open, so you need a button. If I go to my inventory here and then place a button up here, I can then open my doors. Another useful tool in your Minecraft toolbox is commands. Now, commands are great for a number of reasons. Commands can be used to speed up building, and I'll demonstrate that in a moment. Commands can also be used to change the environment and create more immersive experiences for your students. So before I look at some of the commands, I just want to recap some vocabulary. And I mentioned some of these before in my earlier sessions, but I'm going to add a little bit more detail. So I mentioned before that in Minecraft, every block is 1 meter cubed, so 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. I mentioned that this is useful if we're using it to explore maths. It's great for volume, area, perimeter, because we know that the size of each block. But each block has a value. So in this case, this is a grass block. Here we have a wool block, and there's different color wools. So the item ID is wool, and the item data is number 14, and you can find this in Minecraft, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. That refers to the color. So I'm going to demonstrate a fill command in a bit where you can actually fill large areas of Minecraft, which can be quite dangerous as well because there's no undo, but I'll talk about that. So it's useful to know the item IDs and for some of them, the item data. I also mentioned that there are two main players in Minecraft. So you've got Alex and you've got Steve, and you can change their skins. But each character or each player in Minecraft, especially when you're playing multiplayer worlds, has a tag. So all the players in the world can be called or triggered using the @a command. Agents, so these are used when we're coding, so like a little for robot in Minecraft, a bit like a Roam or a Bbot, are controlled or triggered using the @c command. All entities, so that's everything, even non-player characters and mobs, is E. The most useful one, and the one that I use all the time, is @p, which is the closest player, and @s, which is yourself. You can even identify individuals in Minecraft as well. And this will be explained in more data in a moment. Another useful thing to know in Minecraft is that a day cycle is measured in ticks, and that there is around 24,000 ticks in a Minecraft day, which equates to about 20 minutes in Minecraft. And you've also got the coordinate system. So in Minecraft, it looks like this. So you have your position, the key one being the Y. So this is your height, and the others are your north and south and east and west. So you can use what's called commands. And the key commands that I tend to use on a regular basis are give, time, weather, teleport, and fill. We'll also talk about immutable world in a moment because that's really useful, especially when it comes to classroom management. So to trigger a command in Minecraft, you either press the letter T to bring up the chat, or you can press the / button to bring up the chat as well. So I'm going to demonstrate some of these commands. And I'm going to start off with time. So I'm going to go back to Minecraft. So I mentioned in one of my previous sessions that how can you ask children to write about something they've never experienced? Minecraft is great for literacy, especially descriptive or creative or narrative writing, because it gives them an experience and it's fully immersive. But you can actually make the game more immersive as a teacher. So imagine that I've created a game or downloaded a lesson from Minecraft. It could be Robinson Crusoe, Treasure Island, and I've had all the players join my world. And I want them just to write about their experiences. So I'd have them in survival, walking around, trying to survive, build a shelter, get to write about what they saw, what they did, how they felt. But I can suddenly make it more immersive for them. And one of the easiest ways to do it is to change the day to night, because at night you've got hostile mobs that are out to get you, zombies and creepers. So if you're trying to build your shelter, so imagine I'm building my shelter here, nice leisurely pace, because I know that it's daylight and nothing's going to get me. As a teacher, I can then speed things up by using the command. So I'm going to press the T to bring up the chat, and whilst all the children are leisurely, happily in the daylight building their build, I can type in slash, and when I press the slash command, it brings up all the list of the commands. So I can just press a letter like A, and it'll give me all the commands that have A in it. So I'm going to type in time, and it tells you that time changes or queries the world to game time. And I've got time add, query, or set. So I'm going to say time set. And this is really useful because you can actually see all the different commands. So I'm going to say time set, and I'm going to change it to night. So all my students are happily building away, thinking I've got all the time in the world, and all of a sudden it's gone dark. They start to panic now because I know that the creepers and the zombies are going to start to come out, so they need to finish their build. You can also change things like the weather. So the children are still building their shelter a little faster now because they know that the creepers are coming to get them, but they're still dry at the moment. So let's change the weather. So again, as a teacher, I'll press the letter T, and I'll press the slash command, and I'm going to type in this time weather, like so, and it gives me the option of clear, query, rain. Let's try rain, and then enter. So all of a sudden it'll start to rain, so the children are getting wet, so they need to start to put a roof on their shelter, like so. And the pulse rate will probably start to build up now as well, because not only is it wet, it's dark, and they need to hurry. And if I go to weather again, so I press the T to bring up my chat, remember slash weather, I can even make it more immersive by spelling it right, weather, and let's have thunder. Now I've got the sound turned off at the moment, so I'm just going to turn it on. Just go to my settings, and I'm going to go to audio. I always have it turned down because the last thing you want is during a webinar to have sheep barring in the background and cows moving and it raining. But as you can hear, it's raining, and I'll hear every now and again rumbles of thunder, and if I'm lucky, or lucky, I'll also see lightning as well. We'll turn that off because it starts to get annoying now. I'll go back to my audio. So those are two useful commands. So we've got time, we've got the weather. You can also teleport yourself and other players. Now this becomes really useful in a moment. So I'll give you an example where you might want to teleport a player. If I go back to Minecraft and go back to my game, I'm going to turn the weather off because it's getting annoying now. So I'm going to go back to my chat, and I'm going to change the weather to clear so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm also going to set the time to day. Yep. Time set. There we go. I can see what I'm doing now. So over here, we have my tour guide. Now, I mentioned previously NPCs are great for providing information. So if I right click on an NPC, I'm just going to switch off world builder. I'll talk about this in a moment. If I right click on a NPC as a child, I get some information. I've also got the immersive reader built in, so it'll read aloud what's on the screen. So I'm going to create an NPC, and to do that, I press E to bring up my inventory. I'm going to type in the word NPC and get my NPC egg, and I'm going to right click. Now, notice when I right click, nothing happens. So the first thing I need to do once I've got my NPC is turn on something called World Builder, and there's another command. So if I press the letter T to bring up my chat and put /WB, this is the World Builder, and this allows me to create NPCs. So if I right click now, and there we have it, I can right click on my NPC. I can give my NPC a name, so let's call this tour guide, like so. And I can edit the dialogue. So let's explore ancient Egypt. Like so. And click on the word start to continue. And I can close it down. So we have our dialogue. So when a student right clicks on the NPC, we've got a little message. So it could be information about where they are. It could be a learning objective. It could be the next task. I can then click on my advanced settings. So I could add a button that changes the weather. So if I click on add command, I can type in my command there. Now, the thing to be aware of with this is you don't need to put the / in front of the command for this to work. So I could say weather and thunder. So when a person clicks on the button, it changes to thunder. I can also have it so that when I click on it, it will change it to night as well. But we're going to teleport the player. So we're going to do TP, and we're going to use the @P command. So @P means the nearest player, and we're going to teleport that player to some coordinates. So I'm going to type in some coordinates, which I wrote down earlier. I'll show you how to find these. So 350 and 4 and -1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to choose whether this happens when I exit. So you can have it so that when a player right clicks on the character, reads what they have to do, when they exit from the NPC, it will automatically run the code, or I can have it as a button. So I'm going to call this start, because I say click on start to continue. And if I go back now and look at my dialogue, I have let's explore ancient Egypt, click on the word start to continue. So if I click on the word start, it will teleport me to my next port of call. So it might be that you have a world with different zones, and after they complete each challenge, they click on the NPC, they click on the next or continue or explore button, and it will teleport them to the next focal point rather than having to try and walk or find that and get lost. I'll show you how that works without applying it with an NPC. So I press the / command. If I move over here somewhere and do that again. So if I press the /T to bring up the chat, I type in /TP and space, and it gives you a list here of all the options. So A, all players, C, my agent, E, all entities. So I'm going to say @A, the nearest player. I could do self, which is me. So, and then type in the coordinates. So again, it's 3, 5, 0, 4, and -1, 2, 3. And when I press enter, it will teleport me to my tour guide. I'm going to go back to my other NPC over here. If I wrote down the coordinates, I could have teleported. That would be much easier. And this rain is annoying me, so I'm going to turn off the rain. The other useful command you can use, if I press T to bring up the chat, and I'm going to type in weather and clear. Remember the slash, weather and clear, like so. The other command you can use is the give command. So I find that if you give students access to creative mode or give them too many options, it can overload them, or they can get too carried away and start destroying things. And so what you can do is you can give children items for completing certain tasks. So one of my favorite maths challenges is the fishing challenge. So the idea is that students take a fishing rod and then they go and fish, and they create a tally chart of all the fish they create. So it could be a tally chart of fish, treasure and junk, and then they can work out the relative probability of catching each. So what you could do is, here I've got my fishing shack and I've got my shopkeeper. So I'm going to right click. Remember, you need to be in World Builder for this, so it's /WB to be able to change the NPC. So if I right click like so, and I go to advanced settings, I've already put it in here, so I can put in give and then at. So just like the teleport command, you've got at P, which is everyone, you've got at S, self. So I'm going to say at P, as which is the nearest player, give that person a fishing, and it's fishing underscore rod, and I'll show you how to find what these are. And then I'm going to have it as a button. I'll call that button fish. And then if I go back to my dialog and then just check that dialog. So when the children come to my NPC, I say, welcome, you've been challenged to go fishing and work out the probability of catching different types of fish. Before you start, you will need a fishing rod. Click on fish to get started. So if I click on fish, it says you've been given a fishing rod. And then if I go to my inventory, let's get rid of some of this rubbish. Pockets full of rubbish. Story of my life. So if I go back to my NPC and right click and edit dialog and click on fish, there we go. I've now got a fishing rod. If I just turn off World Builder, so I press T and then do /WB, this is what a student will see. So when they go up to a shopkeeper, they will right click on the shopkeeper, they will see the message, and they click on the word fish, and it gives them the fishing rod. And if I go to my pool and then right click like so, hopefully eventually at some point I will catch something. So hopefully a fish, but I might get junk as well. And there's also special treasure that you can only get from fishing. And just like real fishing, it can take some time. So, when you catch something, you right click, and then we have, I think I might have just missed that. And right click again. It can be quite therapeutic actually, fishing in Minecraft, if you've got nothing better to do. Here we go, so we can catch this out. So seeing it's closed, right click, and there we have some raw salmon, just what I always wanted. Now I mentioned that there is a way to find out what all the objects are called in Minecraft, because either you have to go online and find out what they all are when you want to give an item to a player. Thankfully, in the recent updates to Minecraft, if I press the letter T to bring up the chat, and I press / and type in give, so this is the give command. Again, it shows you your options, so I can give to all the players, I can give to the closest player or random player. So I'm going to say give at P, which is the nearest player, and then I have a list of all the things I can give, all the items in Minecraft. So if I start to type in what I'm looking for, so fishing rod, fish, it gives me all the options. I've got puffer fish, so it tells me that fishing rod is fishing underscore rod. So if I wanted to give the players a torch to help them find their way inside the pyramid of Giza, because it's dark in there, I can just type in the word TOR, and there it is, we've got torch. So I know that if I wanted to give a player a torch, It's simply that. So that's a good idea actually. So I could go over to my ancient Egyptian tour guide, right click, go to my Egyptian tour guide. Remember it's /WB to bring up the world builder, and then if I right click on the world builder I can go to advanced settings, and then I can add a command, and this time I'm going to put in remember you don't have to put the slash in NPCs, you put give and at nearest player torch, and I'm going to do button mode, and I'm going to call this torch, like so. So when a player, and I turn off world builder, when a player goes to the tour guide, the right click says welcome to ancient Egypt, can you find the secret entrance to the tomb? You need a torch to light the way, and then you've got a torch, so then when you go inside and you found the entrance, you can light the entrance so you can see where you're going. So that's a really nice feature. Okay. So we've looked at how you can use commands to teleport a player. We've looked at commands for giving items to a player, and we've looked at commands for changing the weather and changing the time of day to make it more immersive, to give something for the children to write about. The last command that I'm going to look at is the fill command. Now, with this command comes great responsibility, because one of the annoying things in Minecraft is there is no undo button. So when you're trying this out, I'd probably recommend starting with a blank world, probably use the blocks of grass template just to get used to using the command. But once you've mastered it, it can be really, really useful. It can help you build things really, really quickly. So let's have a look at the fill command and what you can do. So go back to my game. Here I have my NPC, Donald, and if I right click on Donald, Donald wants me to build him a wall. So if I were to build a wall, I'm going to remember you can actually use the middle scroll wheel. If you press it down, it'll clone that block. I could build a wall, and actually building a wall this long wouldn't take too long. But what if I wanted to build a wall that was 100 blocks long and 200 blocks high? Yes, I could probably do that, but it'd take a while. So instead, you can use the fill command. Now, to work out where you need to place the box, the first thing you need to do is turn on the coordinates. So by default, the coordinates are turned off. So if you look in the top right-hand corner or top left-hand corner of my screen, just below the pig that just appeared, it says position 29444. So that's your position in the world. So if I move forward one block, you notice that the last value changes. If I move left, the first block, the number changes. And if I go up, so if I jump up, the middle block. So these are your coordinates in the world. Now to access those, if I press escape and go to settings, and if I scroll down in the main settings, in the world settings, like so, under world options, you have show coordinates. So you need to turn that on. So if I go back with that turned off, notice my coordinates are out the way. Sometimes the coordinates can be a hindrance. So if you're just in a world where the children are exploring on a fact-finding mission, they might not like the coordinates there. It might be in the way. So if I want to put the coordinates back for when I'm building, again, escape, settings, scroll down in the world settings and just turn on show coordinates. So I have to write these down. So I'm going to write this down. So I'm going to start my block here. So I'm going to stand where I want to start, like so, to build my wall. So I've got 2 Actually, if I move over a little bit further, that's where I want it to be. 29947. Okay, so this is where I'm going to start. So 29947, I write that down, and then I literally go to where I want to end. Now I'm going to make this too big. So if I go to, I don't know, so I want to be in 299, and let's go to 58, and I want to go up, so about that high, so 299758. So I've found my start point, my end point. I wrote those two numbers down on my piece of paper. I'm going to go back to the start, and I'm going to type in, remember T to bring up the chat. Let's get rid of the rain. That's quite handy. T to do the chat, / weather and clear. You can actually, I'll show you in the settings, you can actually make it so you don't have any weather, so it's perfect weather to avoid distractions, and I'll talk about that more in my next session as well, where we look at classroom management. So I press T to bring up my chat, and I press / and I type in the word fill, and it tells you what you need to do. So it says fill from coordinate to coordinate, and tile name block, and you've also got state as well. So if it's a wall, you can change the ID to be red wall or pink wall or blue wall, but I'm just doing a simple brick wall. So if I type in my coordinates, which is 29947, remember there's no undo, so with great power becomes a great responsibility, and my end block was 299,7 and 58. So I've got my start, my end. There's no commas in this, by the way. And then if I press space, it gives me a list of all my blocks. So I want brick wall. So if I type in the word brick, then we've got brick. So it's brick _ block, like so. And then if I press enter, there we have my wall. Now I said there is no undo command, okay? But if you do make a bad mistake, I always recommend, and I'll show this in a moment, backing up your world first. But what you can do if you make a dramatic mistake, if it's just a wall like this, you can replace those blocks with air. So if I bring up the T, the chat command, and then press /, I can actually use my up and down arrow on my keyboard to go through all my previous commands. So there I've got my weather. There's my fill command. So what I can do, if I've decided actually I don't want that wall, I can change the brick block to air. So that's fine for walls. And I can go back in. Actually, I did want that. And there's / and bring up that, and then bring up my brick block. So you can do that for walls. But if you've done something that's really big and it's destroyed something that you've created, so for example, if I put my wall and it's gone the wrong direction, it's gone through my nice build here, obviously if I filled that with air, it would just put a hole in my build. So what I recommend you do before you do use the fill command is, one, practice with it. But if I press escape and go save my world, like so, you can duplicate and make a backup copy of your world, and this is really, really useful, especially if you're starting to use advanced commands like fill. So there's several ways you can do it. The easiest way is click on View Worlds, find your world, and if you hover over that world and click on it, like so, you can either go to settings from here, or you can open the world. I'm going to click on settings, like so, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and I create copy world, and what that will do, it'll create a backup of my world and called copy advanced. I believe you can also do it from manage as well. Yes, there you go. So you can also, instead of going to settings, you can click on the world like so, go to manage, and you can copy, export, and if you really want to, you can actually delete that world as well. So if I click on copy, it creates a copy, and it uses the format copy of. So if I wanted to change that name, I could then click on that world, go to settings, and click on the world name, and I can call this advanced webinar 2. So it's really useful. So if you're going to start using the fill command, especially make sure that you back up your world. And it's also useful anyway to have a backup of your world in case anything goes wrong. And there you go. And the last command I'm going to show you is the immutable world feature. So those that joined me in the previous webinar, I talked about how can you stop children from destroying your world. So imagine that you or your class have spent hours building the World War I trenches, or you've built a replica of ancient Egypt. You don't want people to accidentally or deliberately destroy your world, especially if it's a fact-finding mission. So what you can do before the children enter your world is you can use the immutable world feature. So if I go back to my world, so if I go back to this one and I go to my advanced webinar, my copy, and click on play. Because one of the frustrating things I find, or the students find frustrating, is the right mouse button. And I find this with younger children as well, although I do it as well myself, is when you go to switch, and I'll demonstrate this now, and they go to press the switch, they'll press the left button. And if they're in creative mode, it will destroy the button. So let's say I've got a switch on here. So I've got, let's go to my inventory and let's type in switch. Lever. I always get that mixed up. It's lever or lever, depending which part of the world you're from. And I right click and place my lever. If you're in creative mode, what sometimes happens is the students will go up to the lever and automatically, and I do this as well sometimes, is I'll press the left button to interact and it will destroy my button and I've lost it and it's not going to open my door, it's not going to turn on my lights. So what you can do is, as a teacher, once the world is finished and before you share it, you can press the letter T and you can press the / command and you can type in immutable world like so. And then what that does is it makes the world indestructible. And I think I have to set it to true. And then true, there we go. So if I now left click on that button, notice I can left click all I like and it will never destroy that button. And I can try clicking on the block, it doesn't destroy it. But if I right click, I can interact. So this is great when using Minecraft with children for the first time, and also for younger children as well that just accidentally, and I do it, press the left button. So I'll show that again. So T, bring up the chat, and then /, and then it's immutable world, and then you can set it to true, which means you can't destroy the world, and false, which means you can. You can also attach that to NPCs. It might be that the children explore the world first. So it could be explore ancient Egypt or medieval Britain. And then once they've completed all their exploration and fact-finding challenges, they go to NPC. And then when they click on the NPC button, it turns the immutable world back to false. And then they can start building, so they can build their own version, small replica of a pyramid, or it could be a shepherd's hut if it's medieval Britain. So that's a really useful feature, because even in creative, if I've got it set to immutable and I'm in creative mode, I still can't destroy things. So it stops those children that will automatically go in, go to settings, change to creative, they still can't destroy things, and it annoys them as well, which is sometimes fun. So that is just a sample of some of the different commands you can use in Minecraft and where you can use them. So you can use commands like weather and daytime to create immersive experiences for your children to write about. You can use tools like teleport with NPCs to teleport characters to different locations and different challenges. And you can use tools like the immutable world to make the environment safer, cleaner, and also stop the children from deliberately or accidentally destroying your wonderful creations. So if you found that useful and you want to know more, here's a few next steps. So a great starting point is to go to the official website, which is education.minecraft.net. If you use social media, in particular Twitter, our official handle is @playcraftlearn. You can reach out to us there. And if you scan the QR code or go to aka.ms/Minecraft EDU UK activities, there's also a list of all the future Minecraft webinars. So next week, I believe we're exploring classroom management. So how you can manage the physical classroom and also the virtual classroom. And then in the future, we're also looking at subject specific. So we're looking at maths in Minecraft, English, computing, and so on and so forth. You can also become a Minecraft certified educator by following the Minecraft Education Teacher Academy learning path. Again, you can scan the QR code, and we'll also share these website addresses at the end of this session and in future sessions as well. We've also set up a new community for UK educators. So here you'll find educator resources, news updates, especially regarding new build challenges and latest competitions. We've got some really awesome competitions, some awesome prizes coming up soon. And you can also get support from other educator experts. And that's at aka.ms/Minecraft EDU UK community. And as I mentioned, next week we have our Minecraft Education Edition Classroom Management. When using games in the classroom, it brings its own challenges. So in the next session, we'll explore how you can manage the physical classroom and manage students when using games, and also explore how you can use some of the companion apps and some of the tools in Minecraft to also control what your students do and also limit what they can break as well. So if you're interested in that, or you know a teacher that might be interested in, please share the link with them, and it's aka.ms/Minecraft EDU/class management. And we're also really lucky next week in the fact that we have Cameron Caldro, who is a teacher at Richmond Academy, is Australian. I've been teaching in the UK for 7+ years and is extremely passionate about using technology, in particular tools like Minecraft to enhance teaching and learning. And he's going to share with you some of his success stories from using Minecraft in the classroom. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next in our series of Minecraft education webinars.